Hallo, hat kurz eine weitere Aufnahmesession von Avowed. Ich war ja letztens schon mal im Haus des Typen, wo ich jetzt hin muss. Genau, da muss ich.
How can you ignore what's right in front of you? The dream scourge is here, in the soil, and it's killing us. Oh my goodness. Are you a godlike?
Bitte um Entschuldigung für die Unterbrechung, aber auch ich untersuche die Sache mit der Traumgeißel. Kennt gut sein. Makkarov zu deinen Diensten.
Charmed. Forgive me for staring. It's just, we don't see many of your kind anymore.
Maybe you can talk some sense into our governor. Put the fear of the gods in him.
Tempers are high, but I don't see any assassins. Yet.
Excuse me, but unless you have official business, I'll thank you not to involve yourself in our private discussion.
Ich bin ein Gesandter. Das ist offiziell genug.
Very well. I hope you remember that behind these walls, your influence has limits.
I'm sure he didn't come all this way just to challenge your authority. As you can see, I was just proving a point to our esteemed governor.
A cart full of spoiled vegetables. You call that a point?
Ja.
Emerald Stair used to be a lush garden for miles around, and now I don't even recognize it. First came the invasive species, roots and mycelium growing overnight, as though nature itself had gone mad. The dream scourge has twisted our lands, our wildlife, and now our farms.
Ich habe Verderbnis in der Natur gesehen, aber noch nie so weit fortgeschritten.
There may still be time to reverse the damage.
I believe that we can restore the land, bring back its soul and its sanity, cut off the dream scourge at the root. Our governor would rather ignore the problem. He doesn't trust animancy as his father did.
Aber du tust es, oder? Was brauchst du, damit die Sache in Ordnung bringen kannst? Also schwierig sterbende Bauernhöfe zu ignorieren.
As usual, Giatta never misses a chance to slander me. I don't ignore her concerns, only her methods.
And you still do nothing. Before we can deal with the dream scourge, we first need to understand it. Unfortunately, new experiments have to go through him.
Once again, bureaucracy stands in the way of getting things done.
I'm just trying to stop Giatta from hurting herself. Animancy is dangerous when you're shooting in the dark.
Und was ist das Schlimmste, was passieren
Are
könnte?
you going to tell him about your family's basement? Or should I?
Dare you use that against me?
I know it was an accident. But look what it cost you. We can't let it happen again.
While we argue among ourselves, the dream scourge is tearing the living lands apart. Tearing our people apart.
Wenn wir zusammenarbeiten würden, stünde ich nicht zwischen dir und deinen Zielen.
Really? Unexpected from an Adran. But how could I refuse an offer like that? Well, Governor, looks like I'm taking some time away from my duties. I'll trouble you no more.
Your request is denied, Giatta.
I wasn't asking.
Your responsibilities are to the settlement. Turning away from them sets a precedent that I cannot allow.
Everything I have proposed has been for Fior, and you still refuse to cooperate. Under the circumstances, I don't have much of a choice.
Then neither do I. Giatta Castel, from this day forth, you are banished from Fior Messiverno.
Banished?
What?
Ignacy, we can't lose our brightest animancer in the middle of a crisis.
Your pupil has gone too far, Quilici. Take her and leave. You're still a guest in my town, but to us, Giatta is an outcast.
Du machst aber einen Fehler.
Perhaps. But I can't just let her continue to poison the minds of my animancers.
They aren't your animancers. Your father understood that.
Don't bother, old man. He isn't his father. I've done all I can for Fior Messiverno. But you haven't even tried. Now limp back to your giant house like a good dog. We should talk somewhere private. Meet me at my house due west by the workshop.
Okay.
I'll find us another bedroll.
Okay.
Envoy.
Was macht der jetzt? Geht das mit seiner Frau?
Another time, Envoy. I'm sorry you had to witness that spectacle. Giatta is a spirited animancer, but she can be intolerable at times. Whatever you may think of us, I welcome you to Fior Messiverno.
Du glaubst wirklich nicht, dass diese Krise so schlimm ist, wie sie aussieht, oder?
I believe the nature of the living lands is unpredictable, and animancy is our best chance at getting it under control. But what Giatta wishes to do is more dangerous by far than what she's trying to solve. Quilici wants us panicking over what he can't even prove. If there's a threat to Emerald Stair, it's that old man and his fear-mongering. Don't waste your time on him.
Hast du etwas dagegen, wenn ich mich mit Giatta zusammenarbeite, oder?
Be my guest. Take her away from here. As far as I'm concerned, she's your responsibility.
He reminds me of a lieutenant I served under. Led us into a trap because he wouldn't admit his maps were wrong.
If there's nothing more, I have a city to run.
Und warum ist deine Mutter in ihrem Schlafzimmer eingesperrt?
I knew I heard someone snooping about. And you have the gall to confront me like a common criminal. This conversation is over.
Hat sie die Traumgeißel?
That is not a topic for discussion. I'll hear no more of this. You go about your business, and I'll go about mine. Envoy, I hope you enjoy my fair city.
Ja. Gerade hier noch beleidigen und wegjagen und ja.
Go as I had planned.
What did you think would happen when you confronted him so?
Well, my first idea was to mess up his house. Maybe break a window or two.
Perhaps I should thank you for showing restraint.
Okay.
I'm sorry you had to see that. What an asshole.
Giatta, some manners, if you please.
Why start now?
We're on the verge of extinction, but our governor is too busy protecting his fragile ego.
Muss seine Gründe haben.
I can
kenn
think of
ihn.
one. He's an entitled little worm who can't stand to be proven wrong.
You did challenge his authority.
I know, but... curses. Without Fior Messiverno, I'm hardly even an animancer. My tools, the workshop, all gone.
Du hast an dein Prinzip festgehalten, dass es was zählt.
I wish I could take credit for Giatta's stubbornness, but she learned that on her own.
Thanks, old man. At least now I'm free to study whatever I want. On my terms. The Dream Scourge has been a thorn in my side for too long.
Und warum?
I have plans for this island, and they don't involve the Dream Scourge. But that's a story for another day.
Your parents would be proud to see such tenacity.
Anyway, listen to us babble. Let's talk about you. I never expected to see an Adran envoy here. You've got a lot of guts showing your face in a town full of animancers.
Nun, ich freue mich immer auf Zusammenarbeit mit dir.
Likewise. This should be educational for us both. Our first order of business is the Dream Scourge, but I'm also curious about you. There aren't many godlike left these days.
Glaubst du, dass es einen Zusammenhang geben könnte zwischen Traumgeißel und den Gottähnlichen?
Wouldn't that be a coincidence? I only bring it up because Anamancy might offer us some insight into your nature. Keep an open mind. While I pack up my belongings, you can help me by...
Bist du in Ordnung?
I just realized this is the end. I have to leave your Miss Iverno. Forever.
Ja, Zeit, die du brauchst, um drüber nachzudenken.
As much as I would love that, we're already out of time. When it comes to the Dream Scourge, we haven't been allowed to acknowledge the problem, much less act on a solution. Today, that changes. I need help from the Animancers around town, but as you can see, I'm an outcast.
Ja, vielleicht habe ich ja Glück.
I hope so, because we're running out of options. Manto Pastor is in the workshop due west. He's got an invention that can help us. Elia Rossell is an authority on the undead. Her methods are controversial, but useful. She lives in a cottage southeast of town. And then there's Yvette and Remy, our philosophers. You'll find them at the docks, southeast of Fjord. Each of them owes me a favor. Drop my name and they'll tell you what they know about the Dream Scourge.
Hört sich so an, als hätte ich noch viel Arbeit vor mir.
We're about to make history. But first, research.
Okay.
Might want to get extra rations next time we go shopping.
Godlike, Imperial envoy, research assistant. Who knew?
And I
Da war ich ja
really
schon.
loved
Wo steht der jetzt da oben?
Dieter.
But did you ever talk to him?
No, no. I wrote him.
Okay.
You did
Fine
not.
establishment, amigo. I surely did. Here one?
Okay, hier war ich noch nicht.
Confounded machine.
Das heißt, alles berauben und beklauen.
What do you think of Giatta's theory?
Okay.
Well, my experiments have been a little...
Unpredictable? Like, the essence has no sense of direction. How did you
Kann
know?
ich rein.
We should talk, but not here.
Hier muss ich reden.
I have to do something. I can't.
Was ist da los?
Envoy. I'm sorry. I'm not in a place to talk right now.
Bereitet ihr Munde Probleme
On
oder?
the contrary, he'd be thrilled if he knew. Yesterday, I made an incredible discovery. We can use half as much Adra to achieve the same results. And then I thought, what if one day it's a third, a quarter, a speck?
Und wäre das nicht eine gute Sache?
No. To harness these forces for so small a price is too much power. Who knows what kind of chaos we'll create? I have been reading Athelmir's treatise on Wotica. Perhaps she's right. Maybe Animancy should be reined in.
Geh mit den guten Beispiel voran. Zeig deinen Kollegen, dass es zum Guten genutzt werden kann.
How can I? All right. I'll do some more tests and see where they lead me. But I won't publish anything until I'm absolutely sure.
Geht auch.
I hope I'm right. I shudder to think what will happen if
Nee,
I'm not.
hier überall. Oh, das ist eine Kiste.
One moment.
Oh, da ist nix.
The Adra is healthy. It's the essence I'm concerned about.
This again. You're beginning to sound like Giatta.
Have you ever stopped and listened to her? She might be onto something.
I'm
rein.
sure her mother and father were onto something, and look what happened to them.
So, ich soll mit dir reden. Da kommt irgendwas rein. Soll mit dir reden?
Oh, I heard there was a new arrival, but I didn't expect a godlike. Welcome to our modest workshop.
Giada und ich suchen die Traumgeißel.
Giada, what a loss. I owe that young woman more than I could ever repay. Unfortunately, I cannot do a lick of research while my equipment is underpowered and overworked.
Vielleicht könnte ich dir helfen, das Problem zu beheben.
A novel idea, that. What I need is a stronger power source.
Du bist beim Besitzer, kannst du nicht einfach einen bezählen?
We can't make something out of nothing. We're still limited by our resources. I could use a large single block of Adra, but harvesting it is difficult in this environment. Oh, wait. One of our rangers reported that an Adragon recently died in a western grove.
Auch auf die Gefahr hin, das um es nicht zu sagen. Wir stehen vor einer gewaltigen Adra-Säule.
Indeed, but that well is almost dry. I need more. An Adragon's heart can hold an immense amount of essence. The grove is to the west, across the chasm. You can't miss it. The rangers say a Delamgan queen holds court there. You may be able to retrieve it without violence, but most Delamgan in these parts are hostile to Keith. So you can understand why none of us went rushing over there to find it when we heard the Adragon had died. Still, Delamgan queens can be reasoned with, so if you want to get the heart peacefully, try not to kill her guards. Do be careful. Emerald Stair is not itself these days.
If you can convince her to hand it over, I'll be more than impressed.
Okay. Also muss ich einmal raus aus der Stadt, sogar zweimal raus. Okay, Adragon, also es klingt wie ein Drache. Okay. Da bin ich immer doch wieder länger als sonst.
Yeah, I pretty much brought that plague bear down by myself.
Did you now?
Captain Masoni said he'd never seen anything like it.
Nice! Here we go!
Another win, but who's counting?
Ja, niemand zählt. Okay. Dietrich. Ah, die Docs. Na gut, da war ich schon mal vorhin. Das war das letzte Aufnahmezeichen.
Did you hear that Giada was sent into exile?
Nein, nee, über die könnte ich jetzt noch nicht reden.
Remy, look what I found. A genuine godlike.
Do you think they can hear us?
Let's find out. Hello, me, Yvette. You friend?
Da.
Remy, take a note. The endangered godlike's vacant gaze betrays an unquenchable thirst for violence. We heard that Giada partnered up with an outsider, but I had no idea you were a godlike.
Warum rede ich jetzt normal? Ich dachte, ich möchte was über die Traumgeißel erfahren.
I suppose we owe her a favor. Or two.
Giada must have sent you to be our test subject. She knows how we adore your kind.
Test subject?
Satisfy our curiosity and we'll give you everything Giada needs to finish her research. Deal?
Na komm,
Let's
ja.
begin the examination. If you could choose, who or what would you be in your next life? Next time you go round the wheel, you might not get so lucky.
Was da?
Forget what I think. Let's keep the focus on you. I have what I need. You take it from here, Yvette.
My turn. Some would call you blessed. Others would call you cursed. The fact remains, you were touched by the gods. Wouldn't you say that you owe something to the rest of us?
Was wirst du nicht sagen, dass du deiner Mitwelt verschuldest? Das ist genau.
So, you believe we need your help. Interesting.
Oh, I thought of another. We all know that godlike can't reproduce. How do you plan on leaving a legacy after you're gone?
Das ist genau.
Very optimistic, aren't we? I think that covers everything. Thank you for that brilliant insight, godlike. You're a credit to your dwindling kind.
So, Giada wants to know all about the Dream Scourge, yes? Such has been her research of late. Do you want the good news or the bad news?
Ich möchte, dass ihr beide mal aufhört. Ja, komm.
The Dream Scourge is proof that an unprecedented metaphysical disaster can take place at any time.
Oh, that's a load off my mind. Sure beats not constantly worrying about the future.
How's that good news?
Giada will be interested to learn that the Dream Scourge cannot just be studied in a lab. Its nature is wild, so it has to be studied in the wild. Our machines and experiments would meddle with it too much.
And like anything affecting the soul, it must be connected to essence. Thus, if she wishes to discover more about the Dream Scourge, a pillar of Adra would be a good place to start.
Augenblick mal. Was hat Adra mit den Traumgeißel jetzt zu tun?
Ah, of course. The idea is a bit high-minded. Adra acts like a pathway for souls as they rejoin the wheel.
And the Dream Scourge is a plague of the soul, is it not?
So, just as Adra channels essence, so too may it provide a key to discovering more about the Dream Scourge.
Wunderbar. Noch eine Frage. Was mache ich mit dem Wesen, das an meiner Seele gebunden ist?
An entity, you say? If this entity is your patron, that's all perfectly natural. But if it's something else, with enough essence and a capable animancer, perhaps you could trace this tether back to its source.
Right, and with a little fresh sake, you can follow an ogre back to its lair. Still wouldn't recommend it.
Just be careful that your tether doesn't snap back and kill you in the process.
Now that we've researched the mind of a godlike, the next step is anatomy. But we've taken enough of your time. Farewell.
Hurry, before they change their minds.
Ugh, I might have dozed off there for a bit. Were any of those words the ones we needed?
Adra hilft. Hab ich gehört. Ja, aber der jetzt hier.
My farmhands are very affectionate. Feel free to pet them if you like.
Vielleicht später, aber Chiara möchte deine Meinung über die Traumgeißel hören.
Giada Castel wants my professional opinion. What an honor. I have a few theories, but no firm conclusions. I have to ask, is it true? Did Vidaro kick her out of town?
Ja. Verbannt war das Wort, das er benutzt. Wahrscheinlich, um es offiziell klingen zu lassen.
That's our governor for you. Self-righteous even in his own ignorance. Very well. I'll tell you what I know about the Dream Scourge. But first,
Okay.
I need some help around the farm. I'm up to my ears in chores around here, and the Revenants can only do so much. They can't do complicated tasks, you see. Anyway, I'm afraid the time has come to put down poor Silvo.
Wenn du von den Wiedergängern in deiner Schweine sprichst, ich habe ihn bereits eher als längst schon
You
eingeschlossen.
did? That was quick. Poor
Was hast du
Silvo.
gemacht habe?
He was a bright young Revenant, but a very old man. Thank you for giving him peace.
Du hast mir Antworten versprochen.
So, the Dream Scourge. I've been keeping an eye on the readings from my fields. This plague, as we know it, is a recent development. But I believe whatever causes it is older by far. Maybe even as old as the living lands. The exotic plants and animals, the twisted landscape, the Dream Scourge. They have a common ancestor. There's something about the essence in the living lands that's different from anywhere else I've seen.
Ich war schon in vielen ungewöhnlichen Ländern. Keines von ihnen hier litt unter einer geisterhaften Plage.
Precisely my point. There is something unique at the heart of this. Not to get too superstitious, but in these troubled times, the arrival of a godlike is no coincidence. You are meant to be here. Toward what end, only you can say.
Ja, ich bin mir sicher, dass Chiara daran interessiert sein wird, das zu
Well,
erfahren.
I'm happy to give her some good news for a change. You and Giata are going to shake things up. As for me, I'll be keeping a close eye on my flock.
Oh, and thank you for the nightmare fuel. I really have been sleeping entirely too well lately.
I'm remembering why people find this place unsettling. Feels like some of these plants have it out for us.
Gut, ab geht's zum Herz. Das war doch hier, oder? Opfergaben. Ach nee, Opfergaben. Alter, hab ich ja viele Quests. Kann ich rein? Immer, wo ich rein kann, gehe ich rein und klar, Leute, Sprache und klar einfach alles. Warum? Weil ich kann.
First, my wife runs off to Paradise, and now this.
One moment.
Hey, wo ist der Typ? Was geredet hat. Bin ich blind? Ich bin nicht blind genug, um den Bild zu sehen.
Here we go.
Dappelt auf meinem her.
Is that all you got?
Ja, so.
Nothing like a win with a good team.
Ah, hier kann ich rein. Genau, pssst. Wir noch alles klauen. Oh, eine Kiste. Lilane. Gut, dann gehen wir mal weiter.